My build EK. Okay, so we're gonna do my build EK miner. This is how to tell if a build is a meme and requires high investment in order to be good, or if it's like a build that works on low investment. So this is a. Let's go take a look at a miner. Let's do my build in the background here. So I'm currently playing a EK Deadeye miner. Bunch of mine stuff up here. So let's build out like the basic POB and know what it looks like, right? So I don't want to grab mine character because I want to show you how to do this from scratch in case you want to do this for like your own kind of stuff, right? So how to tell if your character is going to be good on a low budget, right? Let's click some nodes, see what happens. Click on this, click on that. Where's all the generic fizz damage, mine damage, fizz damage, mines damage? I happen to be doing brutality, so I don't need this last thing here because I don't need to penetrate stuff. This and this and this. And this is roughly what my POB looks like, right? Am I missing anything? Life nodes? What am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Life nodes. I think it's just life nodes that I'm missing. Is this it? And then like the EK jewel goes here. All right, so we have like the basics of our skill tree. If you were doing this for yourself, you could just like choose whatever you wanted your skill tree to look like. Make sure you have like some life on the tree. My life is currently 156. It's a little bit low. Maybe I want like a few more life nodes around here. Oh, I didn't click on life nodes. Oh yeah, people like life nodes. So I've got 180% life. It's a level 90 skill tree, like this. So we have our basic life nodes. We have our like our good DPS miner nodes. Let's make sure that we click on our ascendancy as well. I'm playing EK Deadeye Miner, so I want Tailwind. That's going to help me with like mine throwing speed. I've got Pierce to make sure that I've got good coverage. Far Shot, which is basically like area of effect. And then this is kind of useless, but it gives me 10% more damage, so 10% more damage. Let's type in Ethereal Knives. We're going to use High Impact Mine, because I don't like using Blast Chain. Bam. Without going into all the details about this, I'm going to use Charge Mines as well, because I'm not playing a Saboteur, and I want good mine throwing speed. So we have Powers and Frenzies. We're going to use Brutality, just to make things easy, and to make it similar to my build. Trap and Mine's fine. I don't like using Minefield, so I'm not going to include it. And then, for the sake of easy calculations, Controlled Destruction. So my mine throwing speed is 0.23. I'm going to click on let's see, let's click on Tailwind here. Tailwind 0.21 is my throwing speed. This puts me at, let's see, 0.19. Let's use this for the sake of simplicity, right? I like this kind of stuff. So we are going to throw 5 mines a second. And then our average hit is 18k. So like in terms of DPS for this, it's going to basically be average hit times mine, like how many mines you're throwing a second, right? So if I have 5 mines that I'm throwing a second, with like 20k, it's like 100k DPS. Basically 0. So if you want to estimate what your build's going to be, hitting 20 gems is just a matter of like leveling your character to level 90, which is your level 20 gem. And then around like level 92 or 93, you'll get like your 20 gems, because like they're going to level back up after you flip them. So for us, let's go Skitterbots. Skitterbots are busted. It's one of the reasons that miners are so good. We have Herald of Purity. You could have like more damage than this, but I'm going to put on Flesh and Stone because that's what I'm using to blind stuff, and I think it's pretty sweet. We have Sand Stands. We're going to blind stuff. Make sure that our configurations are set up correctly here. Power, Frenzy. We don't have to worry about Fortify or defenses. Not right now. We just want to see like what the character is going to look like. Used a skill recently? Yeah. Used a skill recently? Yeah. Let's see. Do we need this Frenzy Charge? This is good. I'm going to take the Frenzy Charge off, because all I want is our mine throwing speed to be around 1/5 of a second, just for easy calculations. We're going to be crits. Maybe we have a Basalt Flask. Maybe we have a Quicksilver Flask. Maybe we have a Quartz Flask, and then like a Light Flask in there as well. So our crit chance is 40, and then effective crit with the Diamond Up is 64. Looks good. Let's see. What else do we need? We don't need Wave of Conviction because we're Brutality. We might want to use a... Let's see. How about Blade Blast? This will like apply unnerve to the enemy. So you can see in my setup here, I have this like Arcanist brand, right? I have like Arcanist brand, Sniper's Mark, Blade Blast. So like I just like I put the Arcanist brand on the ground, and it just like applies stuff for me. It's kind of a way of getting trigger second spell when you use a skill in SSF on a budget. So I kind of use it like that. So like this, we're gonna have Blade Blast. We can also use Sniper's Mark. In case you want to know what curse to use, you can always go like EK, sort by DPS. Let's sort by maybe average hit. And if you type in the word curse, it'll tell you exactly which one to use. So maybe vulnerability, maybe Sniper's Mark, maybe Assassin's Mark. Let's put in vulnerability. Maybe that's better. I don't know. I haven't done my own POB recently. See, configuration. I think we're about fine here. Been hit recently? No. Number of mines detonated recently? Some. Number of active mines? Some. Let's see, what else is here? Bleeding, burning, ignited. We're going to use brutality. Enemies chilled. Yes. Shocked. Yes. You can notice if you're using skitterbots, you don't need to type in the number 17. If I type in the number 18, you'll see that my average hit from 65.1, it goes up to 65.6. So this should tell you that like if you're using skitterbots, POB, the community fork of POB, which I think is most versions of POB at this point, POB already calculates shock for you, so you don't need to type anything in. Click this. We're going to have Unnerve as well, because we have our Blade Blast. Click this. Enemy boss. Cyrus DPS. That's going to be what we're interested in. We don't need to click in Awakener 8. Doesn't really matter for us. So we have, let's see, we have a curse. We have a debuff. We have our aura mana reservation, dealt with already. We have a 6 link. We might also want to use Valoref because we're a spell. If you want to get fancy, you can try to use like alternate quality of Berserk. But let's use Valoref right now for calculating stuff. So we can toggle this on and off and see how much damage we have. For our gear, we're going to play a brutality minor thing, right? Let's toss in our Ethereal Knives unique jewel. We'll put it somewhere that makes sense. Our weapon is going to be, honestly, for our weapon, I like coming down to the default items here. I grab a scepter like this. And then if I edit it, it's got some spell damage on it. It's got some crit chance, some crit multi. I just take this and I go +1 all spell skill gems, save. So it's like, it's a +1 scepter, a +1 weapon that has some kind of damage on it. It's a pretty good approximation for like, you know, an okay weapon, right? We can grab a shield as well. I have a shield over here, right? I have a recovery shield, but it's got life on it. It's got +1 on it. So let's click on this. Let's go +1 fizz. So this is like, maybe you have like 100% increased spell damage or +1 fizz or some kind of damage modifier. So for the rest of my gear, it's going to be a function of like, put some life on it, put 1 damage mod on it. So at that point, it's like really conservative. And if your build's not good at that point, it's probably like a much higher investment build. So I would jokingly call that a meme, but you can call that whatever you want. For your helmet, let's go like this. Put a helmet in there. We can adjust the life values later. For our chest piece, we could do something something interesting or cool. You could use like a Lionized Remorse. It has, or no, not this thing. What is it? Lionized Vision has like socketed gems supported by Pierce. That's kind of cool. It's got life on it too. Some kind of chest piece with like life plus like an offensive modifier. So if you wanted to make your own, you can make it like, you know, 120 life plus +1 to level socketed gems would be a good approximation. That's like a shaper prefix, I think. Or maybe life plus spell crit, life plus something is like a pretty good place to be. So that's what I try to approximate when I'm doing this. Sometimes there's like an okay unique that we can just kind of slap in. Sometimes there's not. So let's use a Lionized Vision because I think this is kind of neat. 100 life, you divined it, and you turned out well. Good job. We don't need particularly fancy gloves, but let's go like this. How about energy shield gloves? Fingerless silk gloves. So it's got life. It's got a little bit of damage on it from the implicit, like this. You blessed it, and you did well. Excellent. Boots are not a substantial source of damage, so maybe just like a pair of boots with life on them. Maybe like evasion boots, because this is like an evasion build, but doesn't really matter. We just care about like approximating how much life we're going to get with this kind of build. For an amulet, there's a lot of high-end amulets that you can make. An estimation of a high-end amulet would be like +1 dex, +1 fizz with a bunch of life on it. A low-end amulet that's very reasonable for approximation purposes, which is, again, the point of this POB, is just like life, crit multi. If you're a fizz build or like a attack build, maybe like plus, adds number to number physical damage to attacks. But let's go anoint here. Let's go sort by average hit. What is a good approximation for this? Master of Force. That's kind of lackluster. How about Arcane Potency? We'll do it like this. Arcane Potency is this node up here on the tree. There's like some crit chance, crit multi. And in fact, this is the thing that I was planning on getting for my build when I did this. Let's put a ring as well. Rings are a good place to get a bunch of life. Maybe fill in some dexterity, maybe fill in your resistances. If you're like a fizz converted to fire damage build, like LEBV, I like to point out like essences. You can get like an essence on a vermilion ring to get like fizz gain this extra fire damage. I think it's like an essence of horror, maybe? Horror crafted ring. Some kind of ring or some kind of like fancy essence like that. But for us, because we're an invasion-based build, I'm going to elect to have a vermilion ring because I just like using those to round out the rest of my life. Maybe you want an influenced ring that has some crit multi on it. That's a possibility as well. It's worth pointing out that rings are a great place to look for fractured modifiers because like fractured modifier plus essence is a good way to get like a baseline ring. But let's just go like life, percent life. Sounds great. How about a Stygian Vise? You know what? Maybe not a Stygian Vise. I'm just going to be lazy. Let's use a Rustic Sash. It's got 24% increased physical damage on it. We're a fizz build. It's good enough. Let's go like this. You could try to have a Hunter belt that has like life and percent life on it. That's a relatively easy belt to make. And it gives you a lot of extra life, right? Let's see. Last class is going to be life. That's not going to add anything for us. And maybe for our jewels, let's make a good jewel real quick. Let's go jewel, cobalt jewel, and then like multi, right? Some kind of multiplier. Global crit multi, maybe global fizz, and life. This wouldn't be too hard to get. You can make something like this. Click like that, and let's click like that. There is a possibility here of using a Thread of Hope, but let's stay away from that. There's like, I think it's a large Thread of Hope. It hits like Blast Cascade, and Assassination, and Will of Blades, and also this node. It's kind of cool. In fact, I might even do this here. Let's use this, 95. All right, fine. If you're in Trade League, you care about Thread of Hope, because Thread of Hope's awesome. Go ahead and add this in. Click, click, click. A lot of clicking today. Thread of Hope. It does everything you could possibly want. Click. Assassination, that saves us a point there. This looks pretty good, right? Don't think we really need anything else. Yeah, and then like we dropped a life cluster, so maybe we want to pick up like more life somewhere else. Maybe this kind of thing, maybe this kind of thing. Like this. Maybe these two life nodes, 86. Maybe you grab this. Level 89. Fine, level 90. Beautiful. This is 190% life, okay? So we have our 6th link. We have our aura mana reservation. We have a buff and a debuff. You might call these like cooldowns. Val Righteous Fire is something that's only up for a boss. For items, we have like approximate items, right? We have like life plus damage. We have a good anoint. Our boots are not a substantial source of damage, so it's just like life. There's life here. Sure, you can get Culling Strike. Sure, you can get like a bunch of extra stuff, but the TLDR is like, if you're building a POB like this, if there's something that's like a substantial portion of damage, like you're playing Facebreaker and you're worried about your ring slots, yeah, like go pretend like you have some good rings. Go pretend like you have a steel ring with essence crafted, physical damage to attacks and a bunch of life. Like put the time in to make a good item there. But like if you want to know whether your build's good, it doesn't matter like how much res you have. You're gonna fix your resistances. You'll be fine. Like maybe you have, 10 strength on the tree, and you're planning on having 160. Yeah, you should probably worry about that at some point. But like, if I've got 137 strength and I need 160 strength, I'm not particularly concerned. I'll get it. I'll get it somewhere, right? It's level 90. Maybe this thing. This is fine. I'm like worried about the POB now. I gotta make it look good. So let's see. We have crit chance lucky. Yup. Is it chained? No, it's not chained. Travel distance doesn't matter. Bleeding, moving, maimed. We could swap to blood stance if you want to stand right next to something, but let's see. Consecrated ground. No, I think this is just about good. So this is like step one of building a POB. If you want to see like, is your character good? So this is 6.3k life. Some pretty basic looking gear. We don't have fortify and we don't have endurance charges. Our current effective hit pool is over 30,000, which is like the benchmark that I try to get my builds to be. Under 30,000, I recommend people like try to get more physical damage mitigation into their build. The LA mitigation, I don't really care. It's just a function of like getting enough resistance on your build as well. So if you took this, let's see, we have 160k times 5, right? Basic math. How do you do basic math? 160 times 5. So this is 800k, right? So this current build here is like slightly less than 1 mil with Val RF up, right? It's like, is this build good? It's kind of low on damage, right? This is pretty low on damage. This is not perfect right now. What could you do? Well, you can get better weapons. You could dual wield instead of having a shield here. You get like a higher end chest piece. You get for like a better amulet, right? You could try to get like a bottle of faith in the build, right? But like, why don't you see people playing EK Miner Deadeye? It's like, well, with just basic gear, it's like less than 1 million damage. It doesn't sound great. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's not quite like the kind of thing that you might want to play in SSF, right? It's cool, it's fun, I'm enjoying playing it, but there's definitely some stuff here that would like need more investment in order to scale well. So, like, is it a starter? No, probably not. Is it something that you could invest into? Like, well, yeah, right? You could stay brutality, you could go like hatred, you could get like reduced mana reservation, try to like fit more things into the build. You could I mean, these weapons are like pretty lackluster. You could definitely scale those up as well. You could, what's another option? You can go like this. Maybe you want what is this? Maybe you want like lethal pride, and you're gonna use like chain breaker, right? So that would give you like rage, and then you could use like alternate quality of berserk, and you could juice up the damage like that. So like there's plenty of ways that you could get more damage into the build, but like, is it a good build? It's like, well, it's kind of low on damage. All things considered, with just like normal looking stuff here, we're just a little bit low, right? There's a lot of talking. What is the point? Is this build good? It's fun. My cat's yelling at me. I think that's the point that I'm trying to make here. Are there ways to scale up the damage? Yeah. Is there a reason you don't really see many people playing EK Deadeye? Yeah, there probably is a reason to say that. So when you're trying to figure out like your own builds, right? Is your own build like worth playing? Like, well, follow steps like this. Put in some like example gear. See if your damage is like 1 mil or 2 mil or 5 mil, right? Let's see what it looks like. Is it worth investing into? It depends if you like it, right? Any build is worth investing into if you like it. Let's get the music back on.